off all these siege tanks now. Those drones really desperately trying to run for their lives. There's Wednesday Night Starcraft.
vVv Gaming.
Game 4 in this best of 7 series. Currently, Convergence Gaming up 2-1.
Yeah, I think every week we talk about this game 4 and how important it is. What the difference is between 2-2 and 3-1 in a best of 7 series like this. And we do have Rocker from vVv, recently added several weeks ago, spawning as the purple Protoss in the northeast corner here, and then his opponent from Convergence Gaming going to be Puck here, spawning as the teal Protoss in the northwest position on Shakuras Plateau.
All right, and I'm not quite sure about the banter early on. Apparently, Puck has a window straight into Rocker's room, and they've been gazing at each other from afar. So we'll see what's going to be happening here on Shakuras Plateau. Both players spawning on the north side of the map, and with Puck actually going for some warp prism play in the first game. Do you think that could possibly be another repeat?
Yeah, I was looking at the chat, and apparently he is actually known for that Colossi drop, as it was expected, so maybe that's something that he incorporates into some of the matchups. It's probably stronger against certain matchups. I feel like against Terran it actually wouldn't be that strong, because Marines, strong anti-air, but against a Zerg player who just has Queens, trying to work against that Warp Prism, I imagine it could be pretty strong. And players bantering back and forth a little bit. I do have to agree that a purple Protoss player in Rocker is a quite handsome Protoss.
All right, so get this, girls. For all the one girl that's watching this, buy Matron things that in the color purple, a purple t-shirt or whatever, as this game does get underway. And we now see both players pretty much doing similar builds, but it looks like Rocker's assimilator is just a little bit later. It did look like he scouted out a little bit more quickly, and that may be the reason why 5-10 minerals behind as the probe just continually scouts.
Yeah, Puck is just going to be a few seconds ahead on some of these buildings. He's got his second pylon finishing just a little bit earlier. Rocker is about half actually now a whole probe ahead. So actually, yeah, now even on probes. It's going to go pretty similar in these builds until we start seeing maybe the second production structure, how fast it gets thrown down, and what it is.
Yeah, it's always important in a Protoss versus Protoss mirror match to figure out what that third building is. The third building, if it's a gateway, if it's a robotics facility, a Twilight Council, it all really spells different things. Now, unfortunately, that third building is usually hidden as the Stalker is chrono boosted out and can easily shoo it away. And now in come some probes as Rocker pulling off a lot of probes to try to deal with one probe here, and Puck may try to go for a gas steal.
Yeah, we'll see. He actually is positioning that probe, and I believe that you can position the probe next to that gas, and you can feign a gas steal, basically placing the extractor image over top of that Vespian geyser, and it prevents the geyser from going down by Rocker. So it looks like maybe Puck, actually 2 workers killed so far by Rocker, so Rocker doing a nice job harassing with that probe, and is going to die here to this Stalker. We see a second and third gate coming out for Puck.
Okay, so Puck going for an additional second, third, and fourth gate. So it will be a classic 4-gate here, but Puck really needs to replenish many of his probes, and that's something that you really don't want to do. Puck currently is sitting on 19 probes. There is a Zealot, a Stalker, and I believe a probe in the midfield, so he's only mining with 18. With only 18 probes, this may be rather difficult for him to actually support 4 warp gates constantly running. Meanwhile, Rocker has 3 gateways, and now he's scouting for any proxy pylons. The front door does have a proxy pylon already warping in here as the Zealots are engaging, and there's a force field, but I think the force field was a little bit too early, as we are now going to be getting a second sentry in, a second sentry now coming in as well. I believe another force field is going to be coming in from Rocker in just a moment. There's another force field there, as this sentry needs to be chrono boosted out, and more units are still warping in from behind. Will Rocker be able to get off another force field is a key question.
Oh, there it is, only letting one Zealot up, but that's a very important Zealot as it is going to give high ground sight here to Puck. So that Zealot's going to be working on that gateway, but it's allowing all these Stalkers to fire. Rocker doing a nice job so far, canceling this pylon he's using to wall off. Hasn't lost a sentry yet, down goes one sentry. Rocker at 24 probes to the 20 of Puck, so this is going to be very strong coming from Puck. He doesn't have as much of an economy, so Rocker has to withstand this, and he's got a lot of sentries, not very high DPS units, so the sentry's going to have difficulty taking on all these units from Puck, and I feel like Rocker just going to lose this one right from the start.
Yeah, Rocker really needs to pull off the probes and try to engage. He needs to pull back, get in a little bit more meat, but Puck in a really good position. I think if Rocker had perhaps delayed that sentry, that first force field, that would have been enough, and there is the GG. Puck able to warp in more units, and a short game here on Shakura's Plateau.